coming in now for the 13th game in the King of the Hill tournament. Lots of discussion about target banning going on in the lobby beforehand. Proton noticing that he's been picked on a lot by pretty much everyone in terms of banning out things like the Invoker, the Storm Spirit, the Queen of Pain. So yeah, we'll see if that is a pattern here. Although it's something Davidy often bans him out for, and he's on Davidy's team. Maybe Phaedrus won't be quite so mean and he'll ban out something else. It all depends though. I mean, Buttermilk and Meta are on his team and they love messing with Proton by banning out stuff. Almost as much as I do, I think. So we will have to see.
10 seconds to go.
Running down on the first ban, I think this is probably the time in which Phaedrus is talking about what he wants to ban, and Buttermilk and Meta are trying to persuade him to ban something that Proton likes. But looks like settled for Venomancer, which makes sense. Very good hero early game. A lot of these games in this tournament have been decided very, very early on, I think. Even if they've gone on for a long time, which only a couple have, I think the early game pace has proven to be very important. So let's see how Davidy responds. Banning out the Death Prophet again. It's the quick push that people don't like, mainly because they're trying to do it themselves a lot of the time. There's the Invoker ban. So I wonder if we're going to get anything in the chat.
Radiance pick.
And the Viper as well. I'm wondering whether Radiant here are going to try and pick up one of Proton's other mid heroes now, just to make sure he can get something that we all know he's good at, rather than just waiting. But he's made the point himself. It's detrimental to any team to just target ban one player. It leaves the whole overall strategy, assuming there is one, still totally open.
10 seconds to go.
So I think the Invoker ban was smart. Proton very, very powerful on Invoker. He can be a presence on basically every lane from probably about the 15-20 minute mark.
Reserve time.
You know, ganking obviously lots before that, but actually being a major presence on every lane. Phaedrus picking up the CM, very good pickup. It doesn't give much away because it's useful with an awful lot of stuff, but mainly because it's and it's a very good hero. But also it's one of Davidy's absolute top 10 favourites, simply because he likes playing the early game, as I believe I might have mentioned, and CM's aura just gives all the heroes on his team that extra mana in order to span abilities and push or summon stuff or nuke down heroes or whatever it is they're trying to do. Quite curious to see whether or not he plays Timbersaw. Mainly because I just had a Timbersaw game that went fairly well. I definitely didn't just carry the game by myself like I've seen Davidy do, but got my Bloodstone, got my Shivas, got kills. I think I ended about 10 for 4, and I'm interested to see where Davidy gets a Bloodstone. I managed mine in a very tough lane where I wasn't giving away kills but wasn't getting much CS. I managed to get mine by about 20 minutes and I've got a feeling that's pretty atrocious. Davidy picking up the Dazzle, very, very powerful hero, and Davidy has just an inherent love of anti-armor strategies as well, and Dazzle's amazing for that. He's also amazing early game. He can get ridiculous harass off and heal his team just in one spell. But one thing that I think Davidy knows, and he might base his next pick around it, is that Meta is also a big follower, or at least very aware of the anti-armor strat, and he'll recognize that Dazzle pick immediately as something Davidy often does. So I wouldn't be surprised if there comes a Timbersaw, right, as expected. Dazzle, Timbersaw, two of Davidy's most common picks, I think. Meta here will be, I think, advocating in the next set of bans to go for banning out more anti-armor. We've seen very good Slardars, very good Vengefuls. Radiant certainly can't pick up a Vengeful now. That would be one too many supports. So this is going to be an interesting matchup, I think. The Shadow Shaman ban comes out from the Dire. They recognise the early push potential in Shadow Shaman ban coming out from the Radiant, obviously. They recognise the early push potential in the Dire. They want to shut that down before it gets any worse. And Shadow Shaman with his wards, if you play it right and your opponents aren't handling it very well, that is basically a guaranteed tower whenever his ult comes off cooldown. The Bristleback ban following that up, I'm not sure I agree with that, to be honest. I mean, Timbersaw is going to be taking their off lane. Or they're going to run an aggressive tri-lane and Timber will be the solo on the safe lane. But either way, I don't think Bristle is going to form a part of their tri-lane. Mainly because I don't think he's a heavy enough carry. He can pop stomp, I'm not arguing with any of that, he's got some amazing abilities, Warpath is ace. But I very much doubt someone like Davidy is going to play him in the heavy carry position. You know, you pick him up for your off lane so that he can build up experience, you know, second or third highest priority when it comes to farm. But what the Dire are going to be needing now is a heavy carry, obviously, and a mid, and another support for the tri-lane. They're banning out the Slark. I think that's another very intelligent ban. Slark plus CM Bane disables, makes it even easier to land the leaps. I don't think there's any particular major combo that they're worried about there, other than just, you know, Slark would definitely fill a position that the Radiant are looking to fill. So, want to have him out of the pool. I think the same goes with the Mirana. Although, of course, the Mirana, actually, now I think about it, there's one very obvious combo. Mirana, Bane, Nightmare into Arrow. Hold them nice and still there for absolutely ages, and that arrow can be launched from miles away. So yeah, good ban out on the Mirana. Interesting to see what the next round of picks is going to be, though. Radiant. So let's have a look at who's going to be playing what on the different teams. Obviously, Davidy will be on the Timbersaw. I'm reckoning it will probably be LTI sitting there on the Dazzle, which leaves us with Derteki, who I don't know, Proton, and Lure. Lure is going to be safe lane carry. I can almost guarantee that, unless Derteki particularly insists. I would imagine we're going to see Derteki on the Lion then. Can't be too sure. On the other side, Dodo Bird will be happy with pretty much any hero they dish him out to him. Meta, certainly happy with any of the heroes they've picked and are likely to pick. Buttermilk will probably, I think, be taking their mid position. They've banned out the Viper, which is his absolute #1 favourite hero. He could go for the OD, very useful for shutting down Timbersaw. Very good at mana draining. Wow, right out there with the Phantom Lancer pick. Has some nice synergy with Crystal Maiden. You know, the classic combination is Phantom Lancer and Keeper of the Light. Just because with Chakra Magic, Keeper of the Light can just keep Phantom Lancer totally stocked up on mana, and he can just absolutely spam Spirit Lance, and that is ridiculous harass. And then toss an Illuminate in there, and you've actually got kills on a lane where you're normally trying to be on the defensive without, you know, you keep your Phantom Lancer from getting ganked. I would imagine there's going to be a tri-lane there. Certainly that would keep the Phantom Lancer very safe. The only difficulty I think they're going to have there is, unless they do play an aggressive Phantom Lancer, the Bane and the CM are themselves going to be quite gankable, I think. Because the PL is going to be trying to hang back, get farm, not be too worried. Crystal Maiden, though, of course, is very good at kind of chain farming the jungle, getting her own farm that way. Doesn't need to be too overexposed in the lane. It'll be interesting to see how they can play it. I think it could work very well, or it could work very badly. Looks like the Magnus there picked up for Proton. That's a very good pickup. He's very good with the guy. It's a little bit more AoE, especially if that Lion gets an Ag Scepter. Magnus RP into Lion ult would be absolutely devastating since the latest patch, which made Lion's ult and AoE once he gets Ag Scepter. So they've got they've got a whole bunch of heroes that they know very well and will be wreaking havoc with, unless the Radiant can make sure they've got a big stop to this.
Reserve time.
Their next pick coming up, so they're looking, I guess, for a mid or an offlaner. I mean, I'm not convinced they're doing a tri-lane. That there are other arrangements that they could do.
Dire's ban.
Okay. The anti-mage pickup. I'm umming here because Phantom Lancer and Anti-Mage both incredibly heavy carries. They both require an awful lot of farm. They're both people who at one stage or another tend to go into the jungle and just farm the jungle through in order to build up some key items. But you can't have two of them on the same team. One of those two has to go in the off lane. I would imagine it's... I don't think this is a good pickup at all. Neither of them are particular offlane specialists, except in special kind of situations or with very good players. I have no idea what they are thinking. With PL or anti-mage, I would have said, right, well that's easy, that one's going to go in the safe lane. No problem, basically. With these two, wow, this is going to be interesting. I'm assuming that they're relying on the fact that anti-mage and PL both have kind of inbuilt escape mechanisms. PL can go invisible, anti-mage can blink. So either of them, in theory, in a sense, could manage in an offlane. Because what you want in your offlane characters are things like escape mechanisms, so that if they get that gank, which is very easy to do on an offlane, then they can just back out. But they are so farm dependent and so powerful late game, but so bad early game. I mean, anti-mage starts the game, I think, with less than 500 hit points. I'm not sure about Phantom Lancer. But they are going to have a real hard time staying alive early game. I mean, I think this might be a bit of an introductory draft. Maybe it's Guy's first time, and, you know, full respect for giving it a go. I would be very surprised if those guys survive. I think we'll be seeing first blood within maybe even 2 minutes if Davidy's feeling like actually organising that. Here he's rounding off his team with the Luna. Sorry, I've been talking about the anti-mage pick. I totally missed the last bans because of it. OD coming out, intelligent ban from Dive, because they are still looking for a mid, picking up the Kunkka. Luna then being the safe lane carry, that will be a beautiful lane. Luna, Dazzle, Lion, they should be able to get kills. Oh no, yes, Luna, Dazzle, Lion, Magnus mid, Timbersaw off lane. We'll have Kunkka mid down here for the Radiant, and after that I'm not going to take any bets here. Dodo picking up the PL, Meta is sitting there on the Bane. I had a feeling he might go that way. Buttermilk's taking mid as I suspected, this time with Kunkka. Haven't seen him play him before, I don't think. I'll be interested to see how good he is at landing torrents. I've got a particular affection for Kunkka. He's one of my favourite heroes. I've spent so much time building up my item set for him. So I'm very particular when I see people try and land torrents and boats and things like that. Not that I do it perfectly at all. I have a tendency to what would be the word, I suppose, boat prematurely. I've seen my doctor about it, but he said there's nothing they can do. Quick pause up here. Sorry, I'm getting some messages from some team members. Just explaining where this pause. I don't think we're going to be long. Yep, coming in. So I'm going to look down here because I'm just so interested to see what lanes these people end up in. I'm just going to quickly reply to some messages while the game is paused. Right back here. I wonder if anybody's even picked up any starting items that I can talk about yet. Nope. Nope. Alcal's flammable only if you smear them with their own feces. Well, I'll give them props for using the word feces. Prepare your anus for Magnus. Well. Alright, hands down. Hands down. I'm putting my money on Dyer here, and that's not just because it's Davidy captaining. Whoa. Yeah, we'll see. I'm pretty sure Meta, at least, isn't going to be happy with how this draft has turned out. Not for himself. He likes Bane. He's good at Bane. He likes quite complex heroes as well. You know, knowing who to Nightmare is quite tricky. Getting all your stuff off before Fiend's gripping, that also quite tricky. I mean, I'm not going to say these guys are totally doomed. If they can get the offlane PL, that looks like, to work and survive for like 30 minutes without the other team just totally snowballing, then if Anti-Mage and Phantom Lancer both come online, you know, stuff will happen. Stuff will really happen. Anti-Mage there calling out for people to go and look at the runes. I think they know, Broham. Let's have a look at starting items while we go through this next pause. Anti-Mage starting off with a magic wand and a tango. I hate that straight off the bat. Hate it, hate it, hate it. I'm actually gonna find the link to the video that I watched, which made me feel this way about this kind of starting item build, and I'm gonna put it somewhere really main on like every video description because I don't want to keep repeating it, and then I can just go, oh, look at the video, because this is the thing that I always go on about. Basically, it's about starting item efficiency. If he had got the magic stick, the 3 GG branches, and something else, he would have got much more bang for his buck for starting items. It doesn't make any sense. You don't start off with a magic wand. You just don't. Please trust me on this. Never buy a recipe at the very start unless you've got a particular strategy. The only one that springs to mind is Broodmother sometimes can start with a Soul Ring recipe. But other than that, just don't buy any recipes. If you're going Viper mid, don't buy your Wraithband recipe. Just don't buy the components. You'll win. You'll have more damage. And it will cost you less gold. Anyway, Buttermilk coming out here. This is pretty good Kunkka build. Who's he going to be midding against? Magnus. I don't think he needs the Stout Shield. I might be proved wrong. What I would probably have gone there would have been maybe something to start building into a bracer or something. I don't think he's going to be getting many right-click harass from Magnus, because Magnus generally harasses by using Shockwave. And I mean, even if he wanted something like this, he could have gone a Quelling Blade. Quelling Blade would have increased his own attack power, at least on creeps. Pushed the lane much harder. Magnus would have been forced back more. Yeah, meh. Supports, I like this. Meta starting out with a Medallion of Courage. I have a feeling he actually has a specific plan here and a reason for wanting to rush Medallion of Courage. So I'm not going to have a go at him in particular, because I get the feeling he's got a deliberate strategy rather than just buying whatever he can afford without thinking about item efficiency. So cool for that, and I think he must have also picked up the courier looking at the items there. PL starting off with a Quelling Blade and lots of regen. I guess that makes sense for him. Makes a lot of sense. He wants to just farm. Quelling Blade, of course, not working on heroes, is absolutely not useful if you're looking to gank. Davidy starting off with decent items. He's been given a ward by his teammates, so that'll be going down. I doubt he's going to get it down right now at the early though, because he's got CM and Anti-Mage both here looking to chase him off, and he's not going to be able to get to that rune either. Was Frostbite in range? Okay, Phaedrus now picked up an invisibility rune. That's nice. It's not going to be game changing early game, I don't think, because he's not the kind of hero to be able to go back and set up a gank. He'd just be exposing himself to early game kills. Very quickly, just going to look through the dark. It's all pretty much the same. I like it. It's the right kind of items you want. They've got nice full inventories. They're focusing on stats. Stats being very important early game. Ring of Protection. What's Luna's base armor? 3+2. I'm not sure that's totally necessary. Frostbite coming in. Davidy taking quite a lot of harass actually from that. But I think he might just have been trying to distract them in lane, really get their attention focused there. Then he can go back and get his wraparound ward, something he's very insistent on for good reason. It does totally protect him there. And of course, the interesting lane I think here is going to be PL trying to survive with Bane. Wow, Bane almost dead. Against a tri-lane here composed of, well, certainly Lion and Luna. Luna with Lua. Lion and Luna are both very good at getting early game kills. Dazzle doesn't have anything quite so immediately obvious that's good for that, but he's great at harass, which is kind of the precursor to getting kills. And yeah, he's helpful. I mean, Shallow Grave if things go wrong. Poison Touch just to help secure. Meta's popped his salve there to get his health right back up, which is good. They're trying to get a bit of harass on Luna, of course, very squishy hero. But unfortunately, the way this is going to work out is whenever he moves forward to try and harass, he's going to have possibly 3 heroes harassing him right back. So unlikely to be able to pull that off very well. They're going to have to come up with a plan here whereby, okay, they've blocked the camp, that's grand. I think what they really want to do is forget about this tower. This tower is not going to survive for long. Or you don't really want it to even. As much as possible they want the action to be here or further back. Even if PL's farming here, that is ideal. And I guess they're doing a pretty good job of it so far, but they're going to have a very, very hard time. If they can play it cautiously though and not die to this fairly stun-heavy tri-lane, then PL's going to be getting his levels faster than those three on the enemy team, and that could be quite decisive. Of course, the same thing could equally be said of Timbersaw down here. He's going to be leveling up much, much faster than these guys. They are both level 2, almost level 3. He is level 3, almost level 4. And Timbersaw with levels is absolutely terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. The more points in reactive armor, the harder he is to kill, the quickly he recovers from an attempt to kill him. And the scaling damage on Timber Chain and Whirling Death is just phenomenal. I'll be interested to see what build Davidy goes. Personally, I'm a big fan of Timber Chain. It does almost the same damage as Whirling Death as it scales, and also it's your go-to escape mechanism. It's much more useful for surviving the reactive armor if you're good at landing it. And yeah, 1 point in Whirling Death, very good for when you do get the opportunity to jump and nuke. But he's got 2 points in Timber Chain for now. I'll be very interested to see whether it's reactive armor or Timber Chain, and I'll be very surprised if it's Whirling Death. If you have a look at the scaling, Whirling Death, it costs a little bit more mana and does 50 more damage. Now, admittedly, you cut down a tree, that's pure damage, but that's not great. Look at Timber Chain, you've got the latch range increasing by 200, that's huge. The speed as well could be very important, could be decisive, and the damage going up by 40, so almost the same amount. Mid, let's have a look at mid. Buttermilk looks like he's taking a little bit more harass. Same level as Proton. Same level as Proton, he's a little bit further behind though. He's getting his Tidebringer off. I'm slightly confused about his items though. Didn't he have GG branches or something at the start of the game? Now just taking an awful lot of harass from Proton, who I'm assuming he's got an awful lot more farm. He's sitting there with a bottle and boots. I don't know what happened to Kunkka's items. He's getting nice harass there off on Proton, but it looks like I think the key thing to Kunkka is to stay back, and then when Tidebringer comes up, you run in and you pop it. And that way you keep most of your health, especially against another melee hero who can't really do anything. He's actually in real trouble here. If Proton had managed to get his charge off there, that would have been a kill. Unfortunately, he missed the charge, and he missed the follow-up shockwave. Buttermilk there exposing himself. Crystal Maiden taking out the Timbersaw. Anti-Mage dying in exchange, but thinking about how that's going to work out. Dire have just left a solo lane hero, who at this stage in the game should be doing better than anybody in a dual lane. Anti-Mage is a carry. It would have been much better if Crystal Maiden had died. It would have been much better if Crystal Maiden had got the kill as well. But the Anti-Mage death didn't earn any experience for the Dire. It didn't earn them as much gold as it could have done if Timbersaw had killed him. And yeah, definitely I think that exchange going in favour of the Radiant. And of course everything I'm saying is also ignoring First Blood Gold. Totally ignoring First Blood Gold. Not sure what the pinging up here was about, but some caution obviously required. And let's have a look at where we are in terms of last hits and denies so far. Kunkka. Wow, okay, well, that's why it was so strange. There we go. Kunkka slightly leading out Magnus, definitely with more denies, so it surprises me then Magnus is actually doing better on experience. He's almost at 6. Oh, there we go. Kunkka is now actually at 6, so he is ahead. Maybe I misread it before. There, Magnus getting a couple more, but it's fairly even there among the heavy carries. The only problem, as anticipated, PL finding it very hard to get the farm he needs. Levels are useful, of course, you know, you get, but ultimately, if PL doesn't have his, wow, that Dazzle Heal did an awful lot of damage there. If there's a Lucent Beam coming in, oh, it's on cooldown. If that hadn't been on cooldown, that could well have been a kill. Magnus there bottling a regen rune. He's already on full health and full mana, so Kunkka better watch out here. Lion finishing off Bane as the dive gets really real top, but PL picking up a kill as well. Killing the Bane. Bane and Lion just as a trade for trade. By the same principles I was saying before, that trade goes in favor of the Dire, because the person from their team who died was one in a tri lane, so probably fairly low, whereas the Bane, although he was a support, was one in a dual lane, so he was probably fairly high and more valuable. But what I think maybe tips that in favor of the Radiant was the Radiant kill was got by the Radiant carry. Now that hasn't happened yet in this game, that a carry has actually got a kill. It was CM. It was CM and Lion killed the Bane. So yeah, he's finally got a bit of farm in. How much gold did he get from that? 236 gold straight off the bat, plus a whole bunch of experience. That's going to be very, very useful for him. If we have a look at hero level now, yeah, he's second highest. That's where he wants to be. Luna and Dazzle here really, really struggling. Lua, he's finished off his Ring of Aquila, which is great. Got it turned off, as you should do in a laning phase, because you don't want to push your lane. For anybody wondering, the aura will always affect nearby heroes. You can see there it's working online even though it's turned off. Activating it and deactivating it only affects whether or not it's affecting your creeps. So if you pick it up and you have it active, then all your creeps are getting additional armor, which basically means, oh, very interesting play here. The boat coming in, if that lands on the lure, wow, that was a very speculative boat. I don't think it was exactly what was intended, but went very well. Kill coming out there for the Radiant, picking off the Lion, and that actually puts him ahead in the game. I'm very impressed. I mean, the Dian needs to be exercising control here. They actually 100% need to be making sure that they shut down Dodo and or the Anti-Mage down on the bot lane. If Radiant actually can get those two carries fed and suddenly come online, that will be amazing. Radiant possibly diving a little too far here though, because Lua can just turn around and drop that as well. Now protected with Shadow Grave, Proton running up and just absolutely murdering. They were chasing much too far. Yes, the kill on Lua would have been nice, but realistically, thinking about just the maths of it, it was never going to happen. Buttermilk also getting caught out way too far, and Proton really, I think, saving the day here. Dazzle came in, and at that point the Radiant stopped chasing Luna, going to back off, and I think they would have been safe if it hadn't been for the Magnus rotation, which was absolutely perfect. Conqueror, of course, also rotating and just dying for it, so from Radiant being a little bit ahead there, I think they let that go to their head very, very quickly, not thinking about the rotation potential that could come in, and just getting absolutely creamed. Proton calling for lag. Interesting. So if we have a look now, suddenly that tri-lane, I think these were all level 4 a second ago. Now we've got 6, 5, and 5. Lion with his 6 is going to be quite nasty. Picking up Tranquil Boots, Intelligent on Lion, means basically that you've got a constant way of regenerating your health. You just have to not get hit for a little while. And of course Lion with Mana Drain always has a way to build up his mana. Down bot, what's going on here? Timbersaw is currently 3rd in terms of hero level. But how is his farm being shut down? Not very well at all. Interesting. It's interesting. Him and Anti-Mage are both getting almost the same amount of farm. Timbersaw is actually coming out slightly ahead. So Radiant, I think, are trying to play this lane much more defensively, focusing on getting the Anti-Mage fed rather than stopping the Timbersaw feeding. It's a hard call to make, I suppose. You know, are you... Timbersaw can be deadly when he gets fed, and most importantly, although he can be quite hard to gank with Timber Chain, very, very mobile, can get out of situations easily, he's not very good until he starts to get some key items. Levels can do a lot, but I don't regard him. I regard the Bloodstone and the Shiva's Guard as kind of essential for him to really be helpful, and anything you do before that, you're at risk of getting yourself killed almost all the time. But of course, Anti-Mage, you know, the fun ends here. We'll have to see what happens. One very important thing though that I'm noticing is if looking at how the last hits and denies are split up between the teams is one thing, but also all 4 of the supports here 2-2-1-1. That's exactly what support should be doing, not trying to get the last hits, leaving them for the carries. So 2 is the highest that a support has got, 12 is the lowest that a carry has got. So it'll be quite interesting, I think. All of the supports have got very high utility throughout the game, up until BKB start getting popped. And that's true of all of them. I think Fiend's Grip might go through BKB. I have a feeling it might. None of the others do. So BKB is going to be a very, very big part of this match. In terms of just taking the supports out, they basically just ward bots at that stage, I think. Still waiting for Proton's lag to finish. He just got a triple kill or something. He can't bloody be complaining. Okay, not a triple kill. Stop downloading the prawn. Stop downloading the prawn. Long delay. Phaedrus not happy. Meta bored. Anti asleep. These guys. Magnus, I just realized, sitting here on 1800 gold. I mean, normally I would say, oh yeah, well maybe he just got that in a bunch, or yeah, thinking. I've noticed it on Proton quite a lot. He tends to build up a gold reserve. Oh good, he's back now. He tends to build up a gold reserve and then go and spend it all, and I can appreciate that. But especially if you're mid, you're getting a lot of early game gold. Items are very useful early game. I don't think he uses a courier enough. He's very good at using his skills though, so it's hard to notice in these games. But I mean, imagine, yeah, that went very well up top. It would have gone even better, and they could have handled it, you know, 4v4 or whatever it was, and got even more kills if he'd had a few more items. Of course, Phantom Lancer picking off the Luna there, very very good kill for him. And now Kunkka, Phantom Lancer, and Bane all moving up here, trying to get the line as well. And I'll be very surprised if they don't get him. Meta trying to help here. Dodo wants to get a Spirit Lance off, I think, but realizing that they can't. That Lion stun was absolutely perfect. He got the two people he needed to worry about, which was Phantom Lancer and Kunkka. Metamorphosis, having already used Nightmare, couldn't really do much. Right clicked, but it's just not enough damage. So yeah, we get a rotation up now as well. Where's the rotation? Ah yes, Kunkka's come top. Leaving Magnus to run back to base, pick up some items. Ah, there it is, saving up for the Blink Dagger. I take it all back, Proton. Love it, love it, love it, love it. But I have noticed you not get items, so we'll talk about that later. It's okay. It's okay. I understand this time. The Blink Dagger, very important. He'll be looking to use that immediately here with a nice Blink initiation into this fight. He's going to run past Buttermilk though, so he's not going to be able to surprise them. In fact, now in danger of being surprised himself. The Torrent nicely landed straight under the Nightmare. Going to get some damage on him as well. Oh, the nice push straight back through the trees gets Kunkka into a very bad position and allows his teammates to just charge straight in. The boat coming down, going to land and finish the Magnus. That was a beautiful boat. I think Proton could have avoided it if he'd been a bit smarter, but obviously an awful lot going on. Nice follow up there from the Dire. Got a nice stun to get the low, and then a Lucent Beam for the finish. Lion diving far too much here. Can't be hit, or won't be hit right now because he's Nightmared, so the tower will leave off him. But even without the PL there securing his own farm, he would have been in very much trouble there just from the tower. So it's 6-6. This has been a very interesting game. Not the game I expected. I think the Radiant are managing to turn a team of late game potential, look after them early game heroes into actual early game kills and real gankability, and I think they're doing it by very good rotations. Dire possibly looking to make something happen here, but I mean that was a bit of an interesting TP, and I don't think David needed it for defense purposes. For offensive purposes it was just a little bit too obvious. He's moving in now, trying to set up more wards. That could have been the whole purpose of this whole arrangement. Kunkka though going to come in, activating the regen. He doesn't have a bottle, but it's going to be useful for him just to make sure Magnus doesn't get it. Basically, you can now go and try and back out, having been spotted. But unfortunately, Magnus coming back in charges him straight back into his team, and that's just a no-brainer. Absolutely no problem for them at all. Up top, of course, with 4 of the Dire down bot, Luna now all alone. Meta, I don't know. He may not realize it. He's level 6 now. He can pick up Fiend's Grip and immediately Fiend's Grip the Luna. They can get a kill here. There's the Fiend's Grip. PL's right there. And that's down. Bane unfortunately getting a kill. That's not really what they wanted. But I think, let me think, Luna for the Kunkka. Well, that definitely makes up for what happened there in the river. Luna being the safe lane carry, Kunkka only being mid. Lots and lots of pings on the mid tower. Not sure why. You know, this is a kind of stage where the tower's pretty much going to finish off the creeps regardless. Top tower going down up here, not very surprising given that basically most of the fighting on that lane has been over here, in the form of ganks and everything else. Even if the ganks go in Dire's favour, if they're happening over here, the tower, you know, the creep waves are getting held up and the tower's losing health. So let's have a look quickly at the XP graph. It's seesawed all the way, but actually going in favour of the Radiant right now. Davidy's team really, I think, and they're ahead on kills. Davidy's team, I think, needs to start putting together better ganks. They potentially could, I want to say they could group up and push. Might be putting Radiant at a bit of the off foot if they can get a tower down quickly. Rotating now into the river, I don't think they realise that PL is actually just happily farming there. Danger. They are in danger of being encircled themselves. All kinds of motion here. It's a little bit like an anthill, but it ends up with all of the Radiant going this way and all of the Dire going this way. So, yeah, nothing happened. Sorry. Magnus keeping his farm up mid. Mid tower on about 2/3 health on both sides of the river. Interesting going on top. Lion there being very, very aggressive this match. His stun saved him a couple of times, but I would still call that over-aggression. He's up there with one other support. No dust apparently for Dodo. They're looking for Kunkka now. Luna's with them. But yeah, no, nothing happening there. I mean, I think what Lion is basically doing is running in, using his stun. Wow, that is a massive boat. Absolutely huge. Although Kunkka immediately picked up by the Magnus, who 100% no doubt saved his team there. One Kunkka cleave, and that would have been two dead heroes. 100%. If he got it on a creep so that the cleave damage ignores armor, if he'd right-clicked a creep, that would have been Dazzle and Luna dead immediately. But Proton with an excellent blink, excellent charge, and yeah, just turned that fight totally around. Just so much damage that they just could not get the finish. I guess that kind of ties into something that's quite important, especially in early game Dota. Outnumbering your opponent is the biggest advantage you can have. If you have the best, I don't know, tri-lane in the Dota universe, and it's something nobody's ever thought of before, but it'll beat any other lane, any other regular lane. If you suddenly outnumber that 5-3, you'll win, unless you're a total idiot. If you're planning it right and everybody's doing fairly well, and you know, bar strange twists of chance or just, you know, RNGesus or something, you will win. And that is actually what happened there. Kunkka did an excellent initiation. He was actually going in 2-on-3 as far as he knew. Almost got a couple of kills. In quite a rare occurrence there of just perfect AoE landing by one hero against a large group. But then Magnus came in, and that turned it into 4 against 2, and that was just too much. Didn't matter that 2 of the heroes were really low. It didn't matter that they couldn't really contribute to the fight. There just wasn't any way for Kunkka to do anything against that many heroes. You know, right-click damage might not be much on spells, but when there's 4 of it, it's like having a quadruple damage rune. PL here harassing, and then just TPing out because he knows it's good for him. Anti-Mage now moved on to fighting in the jungle. Hasn't, however, got his Battle Fury up. Instead gone for Vlad's. I think that's a very safe way to play Anti-Mage, in the sense that you've constantly got your life steal. His health will stay basically full the entire time. He should... What's the cooldown on these? Are they going to be... Yeah, okay, they'll be dead before the minute ticks around. They're not going to lose a creep spawn for that. Timber here on basically full mana, but Fiend's Crypt, that is one direct counter to Timbersaw. I hope ready with the Frostbite here. Oh no, it's on cooldown. Manages to get it out. Is there a blink? Oh, beautiful mana void there. Absolutely amazing. Finishes him off. Radiant here playing very, very well. Proton basically having to run around and make all of the plays that the Dire are winning. Of course, Timbersaw just waiting to come online. He's picked up a mana boot. Okay, so it looks like Nightmare there on the Dazzle. Lion coming in to cover him with a nice stun there. Magnus now running and looking, I guess, to get a blink RP, but his team's backed out. There's no one there to follow him up. Let's have another look at the item builds, I think, at this stage, mainly because I want to know where the Lion's going to go for Ags. Okay, we don't know yet online. Still getting wards, magic wand, tranquil boots. Looks like he's going mech next. Dodo Bird there, almost finished on his diffusal blade. That's going very, very quickly for him and will turn him into an absolute monster. Bane, he promised an early medallion of courage, and there it is. Followed up, I guess, by just standard intelligence support items. Buttermilk on the Kunkka, Phase Boots and Blades of Attack. I assume that's going to be crits, so he's going crits before Shadow Blade. Not entirely convinced by that, to be perfectly honest. Shadow Blade, I'm generally not a huge fan of, mainly because it's easily countered by dust. You can't use it to escape, and that's what a lot of people use it for. What it can be good as is an initiation item, but still not always something you want to pick up, because there are other damage items and other initiation items like blink daggers. On Kunkka though, the advantage to getting a Shadow Blade is you get 150 extra damage when you break invisibility. If you get that on Tidebringer, so that's 600 radius cleave, everybody takes 100% of the damage. They don't get the armor if they're... Oh, Fiend's Grip there on Proton. Unfortunately, Bane must have been stunned out of it. The boat comes down. Proton charges out of the way of the boat, manages to get an RP off, but unfortunately Lion was hit by the boat, so wasn't able to come in and help finish it off. The team's beginning to line up here though. Nice Nightmare there by Meta, stopping out probably the main threat to his team. CM comes in, trying to takes advantage with an ult. Not going to be enough. Phaedrus blinking away, Proton blinking straight in after him. Dire here, really desperate to get another kill. They are already ahead in this. CM came in there and popped her ult, possibly trying to get some damage on Proton while he was nightmared, but unfortunately, without the whole team going in around her, it's an easy pick-off. CM ult is very vulnerable to stuns in team fights and things like that. But I think I saw one amazing video where CM ended up on this cliff with the other team kind of all around it, and she did her ult and she just wiped everyone out. But other than that, you can't kind of go up to someone as CM and pop your ult to kill them with them just on full health, because that will just murder you. CM's got very, very low health and can be killed very, very quickly. You need people to be low or engaged with your teammates or something like that. I have yet to see a Heart of Tarrasque CM. Maybe that's what I'll see this game. And then she can just walk in and tank it or try to. But yeah, Dire, I think, pulling ahead in that team fight, but still having some distance to make up. Timber moving very, very quickly towards an Orchid, which is very clear to pick up on this team, because a lot of these Radiant heroes will be shut down by spells. Buttermilk should be looking to land a boat through the trees. Unfortunately, going to get spotted out by Lion, who's going to have real trouble getting away from this. Should have moved immediately away after he got X'd, because that's the obvious combo. Going down very, very quickly. Davidy, without any mana, is not going to be able to get away from this. Really wants that anti-mage pickup. Should be able to get it, but I mean, should in the sense of if there were any justice in the world, he should have been able to get it, but no, not going to happen. Medakit here, running in, wants to get the pick off. Perhaps he's happier with the draft now than he was before. PL offlane, I guess it can survive. There are various ways I think Dire could just have absolutely dominated this, which they chose not to do. I think if there'd been plenty of rotations by one of the tri-lane supports, then Luna would have got an awful lot more levels. We could have been seeing an awful lot more eclipses coming out, and a lot more farm. And I think they would have got kills on this anti-mage very, 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 very easily, because Davidy's been very, very close, but he's sitting there on 1 for 2 at the moment, and that's quite rare for him. Dire here getting ready to absolutely murder Dodo Bird though. These are the kind of plays I'm talking about them making. Setting it up right, outnumbering the opponent, coming in and just murdering them. Rather than, I mean, I think we could very easily be looking at 11 to 5 if we hadn't had some very good kind of blink saves, blink initiations by Magnus. Timbersaw though, as I think I was saying before, doing badly at Timbersaw is okay as long as you're gradually getting your farm. Timbersaw is gonna, at some point end up with, oh, interesting, Timber going down. Lion's just gonna get absolutely murdered here as well, and the kill's going to, let's see, Crystal Maiden, non-ideal, but the Kunkka, which is excellent. Proton here charging in, way overexposed. He's got a haste rune. Kunkka had X up there. That could have actually just secured them the kill, no problem. And also, I think he's got an opportunity to chuck down a torrent. No, Magnus with that rune just a little bit too fast. But yeah, now Phaedrus almost completed, or certainly well on the way to completing his. Phantom Lancer going down again, this time to the Luna, and that'll be a very, very good kill for her. She's got her Helm of the Dominator up. She's got her Wolf following her around. Amazing auras on the Wolf, especially for Luna. So much damage being dished out by her now. This game, not the game I was expecting at all. I honestly was expecting a dire stomp, and there have been moments like that, and there have been moments where it's been a radiant stomp. So this is very interesting. I don't get why they weren't punished, and I mean it's a real problem. Both teams have got great late game carry, but the Radiant have got, you know, two heroes who are just renowned for ruining games when they get fed, in Phantom Lancer and an Anti-Mage, and getting them fed I think is going to be a constant hassle. You know, once they get to the stage where they really need to start farming, and they really can start farming, their jungle is just going to be, you know, empty the entire time. But if they can keep ahead on kills, then they're both going to get fed, and you're going to have an army of Phantom Lancers coming down, all with Abyssal Blade draining your mana. You're going to have an Anti-Mage blinking around. He'll have a Manta style, and he's also draining your mana. It's going to be madness. Of course, Dire do have a great way of responding to that, in the sense that they've got Magnus with the RP. They've got Luna's Glaives, which are great for dealing with multiple targets. Lion, as I said, I'm almost certain that it would be an amazing idea now for him to get Ags, because he'll then be able to target a whole group of illusions, and I guess it would work by targeting all of them. Given that, as far as Lion would be concerned, they were valid enemy hero targets, and all enemy heroes in the AoE will get hit. If that's true, that's amazing. Jumping on the Magnus illusion here, no ults wasted, which was unfortunate. Bane running up there. I would love to see a Fiend script come out, but yeah, they worked out that it was an illusion. Dusk ganked up though, Meta revealing himself, because I guess they figured that it was just time to push. The only hero missing from this bot lane, TPing in now, was Luna. Proton doing the massive initiation, his team just not behind him when they needed to be. Especially waiting for that Luna to come in with the Sanity's Eclipse. And then straight into a boat. The Radiant are going to absolutely destroy things here. Dazzle managing to get out by shallow graving himself. Phaedrus possibly overexposing himself, getting right next to the Sanity's Eclipsing Luna. Manages to get killed. So Anti-Mage goes down, but in exchange for Magnus, who perhaps went in a bit early, but his team just let him do it. And Dazzle, who, yeah, probably not the biggest problem. But I mean, looking at it, Phaedrus is doing very, very well. Him dying cost them an awful lot. I think what would have been a better choice there would have been for the Radiant to take the kill on Magnus and not dive too far, just to get the Dazzle and lose the Anti-Mage. They could have had one loss. Sorry, they could have had 1 kill, 0 losses, and instead they've got that same kill and they've lost Anti-Mage and they've gained Dazzle. Tower would have gone down either way, I think. So yeah, not the best idea from Phaedrus there, just to secure that 1 kill. But yeah, Proton jumping straight in there. He's got his Mask of Madness up. If he's empowered, he'll be doing ridiculous damage to the people he catches in his RP. He can get the entire team very, very low, and it was an excellent RP in terms of landing. If it wasn't a 5-person RP, it was a 4-person RP. I didn't quite see. But Luna just not coming in with the Sanity's Eclipse. Even though there were creeps around, to be honest, at that stage, I think Pop It. Lion could have come in with an AoE stun to follow up on the RP, so that, you know, the enemy heroes wouldn't be able to get away. Oh, I am much sad. You guys. Timbersaw, Chakram. Oh, we could have had so much stuff there to follow up from the RP, and there wasn't. But the Anti-Mage kill, absolutely key. I mean, he was definitely the most important hero killed in that fight. So yeah, Mid tower on the die here looking almost deniable. Let's see, it's a tenth of the current health, so it needs to get down to 130. 58 more hits on that and it will go down. Dire here looking to push mid. Very, very strange decision. Not what they should be doing at all. Bot still has a tier 1. They've even got a bit of rune control looking at the entrances to the jungle. Yeah, now they're going to back out. They needed to force that wave away from the tower, or it would have gone down very easily. But one person could have done that, and the other option actually would have been to let the creep wave get to the tower, let it get into deny range, and then come in and deny it. That wouldn't have been a problem at all. Here we see all of the Phantom Lancers. They're all here, except of course for the real one. Of course, that's how this game is played. They don't call him Cancer Lancer for nothing. It's impossible to remove, or something probably fairly morbid. Yes, spam all the spells. Spam all the spells. Decent ward coverage going up the whole game really for both teams. Definitely focused on the runes, no majorly aggressive wards or majorly defensive wards needed from either side. Well, that's great. I think wards could have made a pretty key difference in some of these fights. Sorry, not in the team fights, more just in allowing ganks to happen. A lot of anti-mage farming going on. This wraparound ward for the... Oh, that's a Radiant wraparound ward. This ward for the Dire here doesn't reveal any of the potential farms that anti-mage might be using. Here we go. Now we're doing the bot push. Good job, gentlemen. Good job. Might want to leave somebody somewhere near mid to get the deny, or at least try for it. Or you can go 1-for-1. Dazzle here is just, yeah, I'm balling. Looking to get the jungle ward up. Very, very smart. This is what I'm talking about. Now that allows you to make a play. This is just basically necessary. You always need something around here. That is a playmaking ward. This tower is going to absolutely melt. Unfortunately, tier 2 top also looking quite low. We've got 2 TPs, and so oh no, 1 TP, and PL's going to back off. Mid is going to go down in a second. Timber is being chased by an illusion, but that's fine. Now Dire have a chance to go for tier 2. Do Radiant have the TPs? Let's have a quick look-see. Radiant TPs. Radiant TPs. We've got Crystal Maiden, who I assume is just TP'd. Yes, and we've got Phantom Lancer, who really doesn't want to. Crystal Maiden unfortunately going to TP and then just get fingered by Lion. That's what the move is called. Don't even. The move is called finger. Timber now moving on to the anti-mage. I think that is a fight that Timber would win hands down at this stage in the game. Well, actually, I was about to say anti-mage needs his farm, but he's got a fair amount of farm. But of course, Walking Malevolence on the Timber is what you need. The stun coming in there, but that's not going to stop the blink. Oh, but that will make the blink irrelevant. Pushes him back. Proton unfortunately not making it down there, but that was an amazing blink. Looped just round where he needed to and charged him straight back down. That was absolutely amazing. I need to make a note of that. I'm not even joking. I'm making a best of compilation of this tournament, and I need to make a note of that. Otherwise I have to watch the whole bloody match again. Excellent Chakram there, going to finish off, or allows Lua to finish off the Bane. This is the kind of thing I was expecting from Davidy and co. Catching out these heroes who may have great escapes, but require a lot of farm really to fight. If they can catch anybody out, they should be able to get kills. I hope they're carrying dust. Let's have a look. Dire dust. Nothing. Okay, so PL is basically invincible to the Dire at this stage. They can do not. Yep. Hey buddies. Hey buddies. They can do nothing. They can spot him now, but nothing. Let's eat the ancients. That makes sense. And yeah, backing out now. Proton popping the last bottle charge, picking up a rune. Phantom Lancer there popping Spirit Lance, just getting some harass on. Rosh is up. I'm surprised David didn't just immediately put his team back to that. That's often what he likes to do after a big push. Just if the other team is kind of thinking, alright, well, can we come out and farm now? And edging over to kind of this camp, trying to get a bit of farm, see what's going to happen. He likes to be using that time to get Rosh. You know, some teams like to go Rosh after winning a big team fight with all the heroes dead. David likes to use that time to get a tower down and then go Rosh while the other team is still kind of reading from whatever push has just happened. Let me just quickly make a quick note of that so that I don't have to spend ages. Alright, there we go. I mean, I can see there's something going on top here, but I'm not too worried about following it just because it's Phantom Lancer. He did get dusted though, so that must have been picked up. Proton now coming in. He's got his Mask of Madness up, gives him a lot of movement speed, but can he get around where he needs to for the charge? No, he can't. Nothing doing there. More often something I see people doing against Brood, kind of sending the whole team to try and catch and then wasting time just messing around. Dire are in danger doing that, but looks like they're just going to nicely transition this into a push. Magnus does manage to find the charge. Dodo unfortunately goes invisible, and I don't know whether they simply don't have any more dust. Still on cooldown unfortunately, and you know, none of them had it before. Only one of them has it now. Not going to be a 2 for 2. We've got Glyph popped on the Dire plus Davidy coming in. It's going to be enough to see the enemy off. Phaedrus, however, making a play for bot tower. Magnus now, right here, he can't charge, he'd only be pushing him away from the tower. Timbersaw catching out the anti-mage, getting the Orchid off, now trying to spam out all of his spells. Had an opportunity there for the Timberhook, didn't take it. Now looking to move up. I think he made a bit of a mistake here. If he'd been playing on Radiant, that would have been an excellent move. The Dire player would have run there and tried to go back. Unfortunately, I think that might have been a little bit of a brain fart. But that happens to the best of us. Let's have a look at the 15-15. Radiant had a huge lead, absolutely huge, before they started to mess things up. Magnus got that wonderful kill off on the anti-mage. Translated into much better. I think that's, yeah, all of the external Radiant towers are now down. Gold-wise, wow, look at this graph, absolutely up and down. This is absolutely crazy. I don't know what to expect next in this match. Either team could just suddenly pull up a massive combo and take racks off it. No cooldowns, if people die, are going to be too long at this stage. So I doubt we will see that, in the sense that it would have to happen pretty decisively, fairly close to the tower, and then whatever team wins can just quickly rush. But yeah, here we go. Davidy's team now smoking up. They're going to be able to get past any Radiant wards, of which there are, I want to say, none. Oh no, they dusted up right on top of that ward. So wards don't reveal smoke. They can still smoke, but if any of the Radiant team paying attention to the map, they would have seen the entire Dire team just suddenly disappear. Would have been fairly obvious what they were doing. Phaedrus, visible now, leapt over into the Dire Ancients. I don't think he knows what's going on, but unfortunately Dire don't want him to do that. Dire want him to stand very, very still. Proton going on possibly a little bit early, in the sense that his team aren't going to be there just in time to stop the anti-mage from blinking away with Davidy popping his Orchid. Buttermilk here, scouting out Roshan very intelligently. He's right to do so, because he's totally right. Dire just goes straight in. The rest of the Radiant team here, though, I think what Buttermilk would have been better off doing while he was still in Viz and they were all in the Roshan pit, would have been throwing down Torrent and Boat from around here, trying to get them to land. What's happening now is the Radiant team have gone in, but unfortunately outnumbered by the Dire, managing to pick off the Lion, but just so much AoE damage there from the Dire. Plus, with the anti-mage already being dead, if they'd managed to get the Torrent and then the Boat off with all of the enemy heroes still in here, and then the entire team had rushed in, they would have won that fight hands down. Absolutely no doubt. Unfortunately, they waited until the invis wore off. Kunkka was kind of wandering around here. The rest of his team was still up here. And they fought fairly well in the fight. As I say, they got a pick off. The reason they lost so many was because they outnumbered, and because the other team just were responding as a team, had a definite plan. It was, alright, they're ganking us, go out, somebody finish Roche, the rest of you go out there and try and fight them off. And they did it perfect. David is a fail boat. Phaedrus here, not happy at all about the long time taking on the spent pausing. But David, you're already back on Dota. I'm getting pop-ups, so yeah, no problem there. It would be a very big shame if somebody dropped in this match. I would be so disappointed. Having another quick look at the XP and gold graph. Dire, after that team fight, definitely pushing ahead now. In terms of gold, they are now further ahead than anybody has been in the game. The highest lead previously was less than 2,000. They're now almost 3,000. In terms of XP, they're now ahead by 2,000, not equaling Radiant's peak. They were at one point ahead by about almost 4,000, but they're ahead now, and I think that might be all that matters. Longest cooldown that they've got on the Radiant team is 23 seconds. They're not going to have time to push down racks here. Phaedrus calling for an immediate go, 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 go. Does not want to wait. Timbersaw, oh dear, he's picked up Bloodstone, he's got his Orchid, he is now fully online. I would expect next item for him, I think it might even be coming out on the courier. Oh, he's picking up the gem for his team, that makes sense. I think his next item for himself will be a Shiva's Guard. Absolutely amazing. You're trying to deal AoE damage anyway, and you don't want people to run away, so the slow is great. And also there's the fact that you can Timber Chain in, pop Shivas. It can devastate a total team. An entire team. I apologise. I'm speaking too much today, it's getting difficult. There we go. Radiant, Anti-Mage, as always, just looking to pick off some farm. They're all up now. PL's going to go for the wards. We're going to go for the Ancients, but there's a Dire ward watching him. Dire probably not in a position to go for it. It's quite interesting actually. Dire's ward wouldn't spot out the fact that the entire Radiant team are just over here, so if they'd gone in there, they could have been quite an interesting fight. But they're just not close enough to take advantage, and they're not going to run over there for the sake of one Ancient stack. Dust coming up now on the Radiant. Meta's been spotted out, so he should know what's going on. Gets a Fiend Grip up on Proton. Absolutely excellent kill. Lion, don't finger this. Oh, the stun wears off, and the Dire team are here. Lion still chasing down Proton. Lion coming in, needs to get a stun off. He could really save his team here. Unfortunately running slightly the wrong way. Radiant now killing Dazzle, working on Lion. Lion is down. Davidy trying desperately to save his team. He's got the damage here to possibly make a massive difference. Unfortunately the boat landing right on top of his face, and it's a team wipe right back at them. The gem is immediately lost, picked up by Metamorphosis. Lua here hoping to get away, but really nothing she can do. The stun coming out from two people there. Of course, Conquer's stun, notoriously hard to land, much easier to land as a chain stun. And this is now what I was talking about. The cooldowns on the Dire team are slightly more, Lua taking 60 seconds. But with that team fight it was very decisive, and with it happening right there, Radiant are now in an excellent position to take rags. I'm not even sure Dire are going to be able to stop it. They've got Glyph popped up. If Timbersaw pulled back now, he'll kill almost all of the creeps, but unfortunately they've still got these ranged ones. Trying to make a move now on the Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage getting very, very, very low. As soon as his teammates are up, they need to get right in here, and they might even just save the tower as well. Davidy sitting there nightmared, but no initiation. Radiant backing all the way out. They are happy with that, I suppose. XP graph now taken straight back up. Now basically even gold graphs, unfortunately not recovered quite so much for Radiant. But wow, that was an amazing team fight. Team wipe straight back at them. That was a very, very good smoke gank from them. I think they could have done it slightly cleaner on the Magnus, chained the stuns a little bit more so that when Fiend's Grip came off cooldown, he hadn't been able to just charge the Lion over here and turn it into a big sprawling fight. But they managed to chase, they managed to catch up, and actually the fact that it was so sprawling worked to the detriment of the Dire more than it did the Radiant. Regen Rune sitting there at the bottom. Unfortunately, Radiant are the only ones with vision of it, so they're going to be the ones who pick it up, I expect. Well, they really should be, but Dazzle's actually checking for it. So I think Dazzle's going to be the one to get it. Dodo now looking to push bot. Going in Illusion first, very wise. He would have been absolutely jumped. And having a look at the items now, really high tier items coming out. Lua has already got her Satanic up, as well as Manta Style and BKB. So that is now a fully online Luna, able to do ridiculous damage and survive in team fights. Lion's still not moving towards Ags. I really think that would be wise for him in this fight with the RP on his team. To group them all up, that would be an amazing. That would be a team wipe for Lion. This is the kind of situation that modification was thought of for. Not criticizing him for going support items, you always want that, but it would just make such a big difference. You could almost have a Blink Initiate Lion in this match. I really think you could. Then you've got Proton blink in RP, Lion blink in, throws his stun out, ults a whole lot of them. Anybody still alive, well, turn him into a frog, and Magnus will just cleave them all to death. Timber now looking to push mid, runs into Phantom Lancer, doesn't want to get too involved in that, throws out a Chakram to get rid of the illusions. Dire farming up the Ancients now on Magnus, but Radiant looking to group up and capitalize on the amount of damage they did to that mid tower and just push it down finally. Dazzle's back, but he's got a TP, he's got a ward up now so that plays can be made bottom, as I said, nice playmaking ward. Radiant pushing, but actually Dire nice and grouped up now. Very unlikely that Radiant will be able to make major things happen. I think right now what Radiant are doing, technically speaking, is called dithering. They are dithering. Dodo Bird chucking Spirit Lance out there, but unfortunately it does mean he gets spotted. Dire want to come in and take advantage of that, but unfortunately don't. Radiant splitting up now. Dire now in danger of being the ditherers. They came together nicely to respond to that. Oh, nope, they're not going to dither, they're going to go straight on this Dodo Bird. Unfortunately, there's been a ping on the incorrect Phantom Lancer. So yes, dither. Dust is popped, but he's already over here. Phaedrus on the Anti-Mage, he's got Butterfly, he's got Battle Fury, he's got Vlad's, and he's got Skull Basher. Very, very dangerous opponent already. Level 21, Phantom Lancer level 19. We can see that those two have managed to get the farm they need. On the other side, higher average level, I think, but it's an Anti-Mage and a Phantom Lancer. That's a scary, scary combo. Wow, I still can't believe this draft, this anything, and I can't believe they got away with it. I can't believe it. I cannot believe this game has got to this stage. I can't believe that the Anti-Mage and the Phantom Lancer both got farmed. I can't believe they were ahead of kills for most of the early game. So much stuff. I can't believe we've had team wipes one way and then team wipes another. It's been insane. Dire now pushing up for a big push on mid. Phantom Lancer does have a TP. Okay, I was worried about that. They're going to get the damage down very, very quickly. Forced out the glyph. Fortunately, they don't have many more creeps. They need to be very, very cautious here. Now the Radiant are actually ready to defend. Although that amount of time where Radiant wasn't defending, the towers have now been equalized. Dazzle there being the subject of a Fiend's Grip, not who you want to land that on. Magnus blinking in RP with the cleave, he just finishes off the entire Radiant team. Phantom Lancer the only one left alive, backing out. They could chase him, probably wouldn't catch him, so instead, let's just make sure the creeps stay dead and then backdoor the tower. That is how you play. Nice aggressive ward here coming up from Dire. They knew that they needed to finish this early, so they wanted to commit to this push. Got that ward up for the vision. Racks are going to go down. Phaedrus calling GG Roffle. I'm not sure if that will be enough to actually cause the end of the lobby. Immediately moving on to backdooring the top tier tower. They need to. They can tank it easily. Proton's actually tanking it. I think Davidy might be a better choice. But yeah, once the tower is down with the Lunar Siege, especially with Manta Style, it's just going to be there with the 4 racks down. I mean, the fact that the glaives bounce from building to building, it is just ridiculous. And now they just want to rotate straight to bot. Kunkka and Phantom Lancer up. A good boat combo here could probably hold everything off. Here comes the boat. It's going to land on. Oh, Lua beautifully popped BKB just in time. I really do stress that, just in time. Unfortunately, Lua are going to be absolutely murdered by the giant horde of Phantom Lancers. Timbersaw looking for a Timber Chain out. He could Timber Chain over here, but he knows that wouldn't save him. He needs to get somewhere up a cliff or something. Unfortunately, he uses a Timber Chain just after X has been popped, so it's brought directly back. Very short cooldown there. It's already up again. He wants to find something. Nightmared for now. Can he Timber Chain up here or something? X popped on him again, now Fiend's Grip. That's an awful lot of abilities used to kill him, but killing him is very important. Dire now looking at 2 barracks up, 2 lanes of Mega Creeps to fight against. They still have the capacity to do major team fights. I mean, this is potentially the kind of game where creeps almost don't matter, in the sense of a big team push at any stage in the game from either team, if it were unopposed, i.e. if they just won a big team wipe, could win the game very, very easily. And I think Radiant do still have the potential to team wipe Dire if they can catch them out. Radiant definitely catching them out there. Radiant are picking up a quick rush. This is the kind of thing you need to be doing if you need to be coming back. It allows you to be an awful lot more ballsy. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what Anti-Mage is going to get rid of in order to pick up the Sages. And with his teammate Bane running over here, actually, I think kind of giving the game away. You wouldn't be there if you weren't thinking of doing rush. Meta nightmaring himself very intelligently, now looking to just juke around. Very, very well done. Very, very well done. Although he died there, he actually kept him away from the rush pit just long enough for Anti-Mage to pick it up. Well, denied actually on the Aegis. I'm quite surprised at that. With Blink, I'd almost have been happier as Anti-Mage, given that you've got Blink. Getting rid of your boots or something. I mean, or your Battle Fury. Battle Fury's an early game farm item. It's I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he was right to do it, but it's an Aegis. But the enemy team will try by the secret shop. Tricky. Very, very tricky. I just had a question in the stream, by the way. What's this big Dreamcatcher thing for? The reason for that is it's the skin for my Windows Media Player with this fancy background music. Of course, all of the stuff I'm playing here on the background track is copyright free. So I'm not going to get sued by anyone, but I do need to attribute it. So what the Windows Media Player is doing visible is whenever a song is playing, it will be shown there in the description. I hope, if everything's working as intended, just so that all of the music is attributed as it comes on. It was either that or put the entire playlist in the description. And while that's fairly easy on YouTube, it's a bit cumbersome on Twitch, I've discovered. So. Little plays being made by Phantom Lancer, but mainly just to annoy, I think, and Dire going for it. Phaedrus also up here, possibly looking to farm, but yeah, he's got Blink, he can get out. Dire need to jump on him as opposed to kind of chase him across the map. Phantom Lancer now picking up a haste rune, wondering what he'll do with it. Probably just use it to do even more effective farm. But Dire know that they have an advantage here, especially on the mid and the top lane. They're going to want to finish on it and finish this game. They're going to want to capitalize on that and finish the game early. Although, looking here for a pick-off on the Radiant Courier, one-hit kill there from Magnus. Dropped a gem of True Sight. Not sure if Magnus noticed that. Yeah, okay, Magnus was full. LTI on the Dazzle picking up the gem. That was so unlucky. I think the courier had just come out to Phantom Lancer so that he could put the gem on it and free up some inventory space. And just the worst time to lose your courier when it's carrying one of the 2 droppable items in the game. Possibly for the only time in the game as well. This game is just madness. Blink initiation there on Proton. Anti-Mage with all the crits and of course a Butterfly doing ridiculous damage. They also managed to take out the Luna. Those are really the 2 game makers for the Dire. Really shows that in this game, no sleeping, no snoozing, no getting too far away from your team. Anti-Mage can blink in. He's doing 300 damage and critting for 175% of that. So that's pretty much 600 damage. I apologize, it's more than that. He could kill this. Oh dear. Okay, Anti-Mage has been silenced. Unfortunately, Timber's desperately trying to get the damage off. Not able to do it. There we go with the Lion Stun. Davidy unfortunately nightmared by this Bane who's been following the fight. Dirch trying to get this Anti-Mage kill. Pull back that. Yes! Excellent job. The gem's still lying there unfortunately. Picked up by the Dazzle, but Dazzle was killed there by the Anti-Mage. Again, in the exact same thing with the Anti-Mage diving beyond the tower in order to get the Dazzle and getting him killed. And it's just not worth it. Again, he's the only death that the Radiant has suffered. They could be pushing down towers now, were he alive. And what they got in exchange for his death was the Dazzle kill. Not worth it. Yes, undeniably they've won overall here, with that, you know, with this beautiful fight that started over here and ended up all the way over here. But it's just not worth it. Pings on Roshan, who isn't up yet and won't be for a fair while. Radiant just looking to farm. Interestingly, I mean, Kunkka hasn't been. There have been some nice boats. There have been some fail boats, but there always are. Shadowblade being picked up now. Okay, not a fan of that, to be perfectly honest. Dire team being spotted out here by a Radiant Ward, but Ward just getting immediately denied. They've got the eye on They must have a gem on someone. Gem on Timber. Shadowblade this late, I'm less of a fan of. Can still work as an initiation item. But 150 damage means a lot less at this stage in the game. You know, early game you can be talking about a quarter of a support's health with 150 damage. Late game you're not, sadly. Not that it's bad, but late game there are just better items that you can be going for. You know, he's finishing his crits now for Kunkka, getting the demon edge there, looking to farm up the recipe so he can get his Daedalus. But yeah, that would have been better to get. If you're not going to get the Shadowblade early, just focus on getting crits. Metamorphosis, when he plays Kunkka, plays him as a safe lane carry, which I disagree with for various reasons. But it's an interesting study in the build that he uses, which is perfect for a safe lane carry Kunkka. It's Battle Fury, so you've got the constant cleave, crits, BKB, much more farm carry items. You can almost quite similar to an anti-mage, just without the butterfly. Wow, massive Counter Lancer Swarm here. Proton to the charge. Unfortunately, charge I don't think can pick up. There's a limited number on a lot of Magnus's abilities. I don't think they're stated, but I have a feeling that's the case. So, for example, I think RP can proc a maximum of 4 people or something. I might be totally wrong. Charge there certainly didn't drag the whole cloud of PLs. Right, so we're teaming up for bot push here. I worry though. Dire are fighting against a team, as I said before, who can ignore the lack of barracks. Kunkka can win if he picks up a Divine Rapier, which he should probably discuss with his team. You can of course you can 5-man RP. Thank you, Kay. I've got someone watching. You can of course 5-man RP, so it's not going to be 4, but I think there might be another. Anyway, we'll find out if I'm right at some point. Possibly in the next cast, I'll look it up. But yeah, Kunkka with a Divine Rapier, and you know, on top of the items he's kind of got. I've seen games go from, you know, mega creeps once all the barracks are down. I've seen games be turned around from that with a Kunkka, and you know, plus PL plus anti-mage. I need to be very careful about how they initiate here. Proton coming in, wants to get his pushes off. Does he have a BKB? He doesn't. If he had a BKB, he would have been able to ignore that stun the way that Lua did. Lua now getting Fiend's Grip. Proton desperately just trying to get some damage on the racks. He's going for the melee. I don't think he's going to be able to get it down, so he should probably be going for the range. The range one not regenerating. Meta trying to get some damage. Proton does get the melee racks down. Well, the only kill so far? Have we had a buyback? Oh no, Lion goes down as well. Dire need to get out as fast as possible. Forget about LTI. He was probably saying the same thing. I'm a dazzle. Don't care about me. I can use and hold them up for ages. Look at me. I'm in the sky. And look at me. I'm shallow grave. And look at me. Nobody can hurt me. That's awesome. 4-staffing there. Beautiful 4-staff. Unfortunately, X'd. Okay. Nightmare there to interrupt the TP, but I think he probably would have just died anyway. But he's holding up the Radiant team so much. I mean, it's not only that they got away, they've now got away, and Timber feels confident actually farming up the Radiant Ancients, because while Lua farms up the dire ones, Radiant now, they know that they need to get a Rax. It's getting to that kind of stage. I was yelling at Proton to get the ranged one. I think if the Radiant had focused him better, they would have killed him, and the melee Rax would just have regen health. But with the regen one now down, that's definitely a huge advantage for them, because even if the push is going on up here, someone can just get Boots of Travel, come down around here and solo that, and it'll be dead, and the Dire will actually have these mega creeps I've been talking about. And sure, Radiant definitely have a team comp that, and it's rare to be able to do this, Radiant have a team comp that can come back from mega creeps, or whatever. I think the game calls both types of upgraded mega creeps, which annoys me, but just for clarification, when you destroy the barracks in a lane, you get mega creeps. When you destroy all 6 barracks, all of the creeps on every lane undergo a further upgrade to become what I will call mega creeps. Radiant here going for Rosh. Dire no. Lion could throw in a beautiful stun from where he's standing right now, chooses not to. Magnus instead having to do the work, comes in, RP's Rosh on 300 health, There's the Lion Stun. Where is the Dire team? That was beautiful. So much opportunity there for the rest of the team to be there. Timbersaw, however, here's the rest of the Dire team. That makes sense. PL desperately trying to fight, but unfortunately just being ignored by the Dire heroes. He is managing to get down Lua, who is doing a fair amount of damage on the tower. The boat is landed. Proton goes down as well. He would have been better to back out there. The ranged barracks is sitting on 8 health right next to a Gem of True Sight, which I don't think Radiant are aware of. Now here comes the push. The real question though is, do they have buyback? Timber has buyback, Magnus has buyback, and Luna does not have buyback. So probably going to be a 4-on-5 fight mid. Luna is going to be down for another 70 seconds. If Dire lose, it's now. I'm not entirely sure why Top Wave hasn't pushed in an awful lot more. I haven't seen much fighting going on there, but obviously I haven't just been watching it, otherwise it would be right up in the Radiant base. Magnus is brought back. Timber is with his Bloodstone waiting for it to come back. There we go. The tower went down very early, if you remember, taken very, very low before. Nice harass there coming out. Anti-Mage and TM already on half health. Proton getting Fiend's Gripped. Davidy here coming in desperate to finish off the enemy team. Unfortunately stunned by the Anti-Mage and nightmared to survival. The Aegis has now been popped on Anti-Mage. That's why he was being so aggressive. Deitch probably going to get away. Davidy finally coming out of Nightmare. Manages to pull out. Actually has a chance here. If he can get away from the Torrent, he does. He'll be safe. And of course, he did not use his buyback, so that is still available. Beautiful Lion Stun coming out there. Most of the Radiant team trying to focus on getting down the towers in the Ancient, but I'm not sure that's a good idea. Anti-Mage now finishing off Davidy. Immediate buyback from him. Now we've got a Phantom Lancer pushing straight onto the Dire Ancient. They have to get them off this. Phantom Lancer will finish this incredibly quickly. Lua coming in. And that is GG. GG going to the Radiant. That was an amazingly well fought match. I'm not sure whether there's going to be whether Davidy is going to be entirely happy about that. Wow, that was amazing. Full respect to Radiant there. I was expecting Dire to take advantage of it early and absolutely crush, but at the same time, massive props to Dire. After that early game where they didn't get the lead that they needed to, and that I feel they could have done, they then managed to pull it back to the stage where they were almost winning it against a fairly well fed Anti-Mage and Phantom Lancer. One moment. So yeah, absolutely amazing game. Absolute pleasure to cast. That is definitely going to be going on a whole bunch of my best of playlists. Game of Throws, King Joffrey would be proud. I hope anybody watching enjoyed it. Hopefully we're bringing you a lot more of this quality game coming up in the future. Ciao.